Dune Messiah is the captivating sequel to Frank Herbert's renowned science fiction novel Dune. Serialized in Galaxy magazine in 1969, it takes readers further into the future and continues the epic saga of Paul Atreides. In this distant time, Paul has triumphed over a treacherous plot against his family and risen to become the emperor of the known universe. As Paul assumes his role as the leader of humanity, his primary objective is to safeguard the survival of the species across the vast expanse of the galaxy. However, the novel delves deeper into profound themes, such as the nature of time and destiny, exploring the intricate intersection between religion and governance. It also offers a thought-provoking examination of the social and philosophical perils that accompany the idolization of heroic figures. Set in the year 10,208, the story follows Paul, known as Muad'Dib, as he reigns as emperor. His freemen warriors, whom he led during a 12-year jihad, have expanded their dominion by conquering various worlds. They spread the indigenous religion of their desert planet, Arrakis or Dune, where Paul himself is worshipped as a messianic figure. Furthermore, Paul is the Kwisatz Haderach, the culmination of a long-term selective breeding program orchestrated by the Bene Gesserit, an exclusive sisterhood, in their pursuit of producing an exceptionally powerful and prescient male. In his role as emperor, Paul holds control over the production of spice, a highly addictive and valuable substance. The sandworms of Arrakis generate this psychoactive substance, also known as melange, which is indispensable for interstellar travel. Despite his immense power, Paul feels entrapped by the relentless course of destiny. The jihad carried out in his name has caused the deaths of billions, yet his visions reveal alternate futures that endanger the very existence of humanity. Paul's unchecked power becomes a threat to various factions with their own agendas in Dune Messiah. The Bene Gesserit, a secretive sisterhood pursuing human perfection, the Spacing Guild, which controls interstellar travel, and the Bene Tleilax, masters of genetic manipulation, all see Paul as an obstacle to their goals. To conspire against Paul, the Bene Gesserit Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohiam joins forces with Edric, a guild navigator, and Scytale, a Tleilaxu-faced dancer, with the ability to change appearance at will. Edric's spice-induced prescience shields them from Paul's own prophetic powers. They manipulate Paul's consort, Princess Irulan, who is politically married to him to secure his claim to the throne. Irulan, a Bene Gesserit sister and daughter of the deposed emperor, hopes to establish her position in the new dynasty by bearing Paul's heir, thus preserving his genes for the Bene Gesserit's purposes. Secretly, Irulan feeds contraceptives to Paul's true love, Chani, a freeman woman, as she desires to have Paul's child. However, Paul is aware of this and does not intervene because he has foreseen Chani's death in childbirth. In his role as the guild ambassador, Edric presents Paul with a Tleilaxu Gola, a replicated human created from the corpse of Duncan Idaho, Paul's childhood mentor who sacrificed his life to save Paul. Although Golas are believed to be unable to access their past lives, they retain some aspects of their original personalities. Paul, unable to resist the temptation, accepts the Gola named Hate, not realizing that Hate's purpose is to sow discord within Paul, exacerbating his moral and philosophical dilemmas and hindering his ability to govern. Paul's sister, Aelia, who is also prescient and worshipped as a goddess, senses her brother's growing turmoil. She grapples with her transition into womanhood, battling her attraction to Hate, and yearns for a normal life, resenting her deification. Simultaneously, Paul's transformation of Arrakis through terraforming and his disregard for Freeman traditions lead to traitorous Freeman joining the plot against him. Ireland reveals to Paul the conspirators' plan to steal a sandworm and attempt spice production offworld. As Chani starts a traditional Freeman fertility diet, she becomes pregnant. However, due to Ireland's poisoning, Chani must consume large amounts of spice, which accelerates the pregnancy and poses life-threatening complications. Scytale, disguised as Lichna, commits a heinous act by murdering a young Freeman woman. Despite his attempt to infiltrate Paul's palace, Paul sees through the deception. However, he agrees to visit Lichna's father and his old friend, Otham, as suggested by Scytale. Fully aware that it is a trap, Paul's foresight reveals that he must walk into this trap to bring about the most favorable future for humanity. At Otham's house, Paul receives a dwarf named Bijax, created by the Tlaxu, who possesses knowledge of the Freeman traitors and their plots. Not appearing in Paul's visions, Bijax becomes a suspect in the conspiracy, shielded by another oracle. As Paul and Bijax depart, the house is obliterated in an atomic explosion, and Paul is blinded by the radiation. According to Freeman customs, a blinded Paul should be exiled to the desert. However, Paul's prescience allows him to perceive the world around him with remarkable clarity, defying the limitations of his blindness. This further intimidates and isolates his Freeman supporters, while Paul continues to retain his position as emperor. Bijax, using specialized vocal intonations, implants a compulsion in the Gola Hate. When Paul utters a specific phrase, Hate is compelled to assassinate him. After exposing the treacherous Freeman, Paul and Chani embark on a journey to Sietch Tabor, a stronghold deep in the desert, where Chani is expected to give birth. Accompanied by Alia, Hate, Bijax, and Scytale in his Lichna disguise, they arrive at their destination. Tragically, Chani succumbs to the perils of childbirth. In his grief, Paul unwittingly utters the compulsion command. However, Hate's unwavering loyalty to Paul prevents him from carrying out the assassination, allowing him to break free from the compulsion and reclaim his true identity. As Duncan Idaho, the first Gola to achieve such a feat, Paul, shattered by Chani's death, visits the birthing room to mourn her loss, and is astonished to discover that she has given birth to twins, a boy and a girl. In a dramatic turn of events, Scytale reveals himself and holds the newborns at knife point, demanding that Paul renounce his religious and political roles and transfer his wealth to the Beam Tleilax. He offers asylum and a Gola of Chani, using Duncan Idaho's resurrection as proof of the possibility. Tempted but resolute, Paul realizes that Duncan's restoration of identity came at a great cost, through traumatic actions that contradict his own principles. Reluctant to subject Chani to a similar fate, Paul, fully committed to the future he has envisioned, eliminates Scytale. In a swift retaliation, Duncan kills Bijax. With the disappearance of his oracular visions, Paul is left in true blindness. As per Freeman tradition, he self-imposes exile into the desert, and his presumed death is widely accepted. Paul entrusts Alia with the role of regent, who proceeds to execute the remaining conspirators. Alia initiates a relationship with Duncan, who recognizes that Paul's self-imposed exile secures the Freeman's loyalty to his son. In the wake of these momentous events, Paul's legacy and the trajectory of the Dune universe are forever altered.